Okay, नमस्कार समस्त को वेलकम टू आमर एपिसोड 3 एआई क्लब रो आज अनुष्का नाही तार गोटे काम अछि तेणु ता बदल मु तार बेस्ट इंपर्सनेशन करबी तो मुझे स्क्रीन शेयर करुचे थैंक यू एवरीबॉडी जो माने वीकेंड एट स्पेंड करचंती माने गला 2 वीक रे बढ़िया सब जिनस प्रथमे आमे आरंभ कले एआई कोन जानिया पई प्रोफेसर प्रशांत महापात्र बुझेले से गोटे भलो हिस्ट्री क्रोनोलॉजी पूरा दे देले जे एआई टा किने मशीन लर्निंग रो आरंभ होई डेटा साइंस एंड धीरे धीरे बे जो फोरफ्रंट रे हमें यूज करचे जेनरेटिव एआई ए जो एआई क्लब रे हम बाकी सब विषय कथा लेबे हमर की फोकस रहउची मोस्टली जेनरेटिव एआई ऊपर हम नॉट नेसेसरली मशीन लर्निंग जोड़ा हार्डकोर डेटा साइंस रहउची से विषय कथा होनी डे टू डे यूज रे केमती भाबरे हमें एआई की यूज कर परिबा समस्त जेहेतु सुनी आसिले रेगुलरली द होल डिमांड वाज की आमर सबु जॉब जो जेकोनसी जॉब जेकोनसी इंडस्ट्री कहंतु एआई रो केमती इंपैक्ट आछी अपॉर्चुनिटी कोन रिस्क्स कोन से विषय जानिया पे तेनु हमरी कम्युनिटी ड्रिवन हमरी कम्युनिटी भितरे एक्सपर्ट्स माने अछंती तो प्रशांत भाई आसी कहतिले आशुतोष भाई कहतिले एंड टुडे वी हैव टू फिनोमिनल स्पीकर्स अगेन सो लेट मी शेयर माय स्क्रीन देखा जाउची
हां भाई
ओके तो मु गोटे मिनिट मु सत्यव्रत तुमको टिके कर दूची को होस्ट सो के जदि अटेंड करले कि कले एडमिट कर दो थैंक यू तो आज हम सुनिबा प्रोफेसर चित्त बराल पाखरु अबाउट द टॉपिक अप्रोचिंग द फ्रंटियर रिसर्च विथ एआई तापर हमें सुनिबा प्रोफेसर दुर्गा मिश्रा पाखरु अबाउट इमेजिनिंग ओडिशा इन द एआई चिप डिजाइन इकोसिस्टम and our resident expert in AI hands-on lab, Chitta Satyabrata Pradhan from Michigan. He is going to walk through and I'm going to partner with him about how to use specifically AI tools and today's topic will be using the cloud. तापूर्बुरा में chat GPT देखितले आज हमें टिके बेसी फोकस करबा cloud ऊपर आ टिके तार एजेंटिक आ persistent chat विषय बेसी फोकस रहइबा. So I'll keep that part for that part. आउ चित्त भाई आपण जदी आपण प्रेजेंटेशन अछि जदी I will stop sharing feel free to allow it. हमर चित्त भाई he doesn't require any introduction. चित्त भाई has been a OSA रो बहुत उडा इनिशिएटिव रे बहुत दिन रही आछंती तेनो OSA फैमिली रे हम समस्त तांग भल के जानिछु बट प्रोफेशनली इज कंप्यूटर साइंस आ एआई रिसर्च एरिया रे तांकर बहुत डीप इंटरेस्ट आ एकेडमिकली बहुत रिसर्च करछंती सो वेलकम चित्त भाई
थैंक यू का सो मो एक्चुअली स्लाइड आरंभ कर सरलानी मोर स्लाइड टाइम सरी वाला सो इट्स अ लिटिल नॉट man I was not sure kim the audience have kon chahibe so I was not so this not knowing the audience so the slides are I will kind of improvise so I'll start with my always start key what is AI so I'll give my perspective so jo mat pacharanti AI ku I basically strip the A part the intelligence ta kona and intelligence re to psychologists mane bahi be lekhchen mane bahi bahut ura bahi achi so easy hela to look at the dictionary.com definition so AI intelligence dictionary.com re dekhibo so the main things are systems that can learn reason understand so din tinta re focus hochi it can learn things it can reason it can understand so understand natural language ki jaha tum perception jaha tum dekhucho and learn sikhi paribo and reason kar paribo so that's my definition so more actually AI sangare bahut purna samparka so I was recently there was an interview with some magazine so that's where I found my undergraduate thesis so this was my undergraduate thesis in 1987 which was actually a natural language jota ke baby hochi trying to create natural language interface for a relational database eta kimiti hela my mundare kimiti idea pasla the professor actually did not suggest it mu sta purba summer I was at University of Hyderabad I was doing an internship and I had visited University of Hyderabad library and said to jane bartman amar achanti lok I think Baral Mishra he took me he was a student there he took me to the library and I got hold of this book into the heart of the mind so that was my starting point so it was very exciting then that's how I did my BTech and this was my PhD thesis was on reasoning so that's there some of my books so I have been working on AI agents bhi bahut purburu 1997 2000 I had written about reasoning agents in dynamic domains so the agent thing jaha mein sunu che that's actually AI frontier but it's not something very new mane bahut aguru achi just the approaches have been different approaching the frontier so the early focus means was on symbolic AI, logical reasoning, cognitive architecture. So McCarthy, Alan Newell, Herb Simon, eman सब touring award पाइचंती तांका भितर I think Simon also won the Nobel Prize in economics. Neural networks 43 ରୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଇଛି 58 69 ରେ Minsky wrote a paper. Actually it was a big blow to AI. କାଇଁ କହିଲା କି neural network ଏଟା ହେଇପାରିବନି ସେଟା ହେଇପାରିବନି, so there was a big drawback. uh, Parallelly, machine learning later 1980s ରୁ there's there. So initially 56 ରୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ McCarthy ରିକା ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲେ, it was more focused on logical reasoning, symbolic AI. And 80s 90s ରେ it became learning, more focused on machine learning, and then machine learning using neural networks କୁ ଗଲା. So path to the frontier, natural language processing ରେ computational linguistics ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଲା, ମାନେ using grammars and Minsky's sorry କାହାର ଗ୍ରାମାର, ସୋ କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟର ଲିଙ୍ଗୁଇଷ୍ଟିକ୍ସ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଲା, ତାପରେ ମସିନ୍ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଆପ୍ରୋଚେସ୍। ସୋ ରିସେଣ୍ଟ ରିସର୍ଜେନ୍ସ ଯୋଉଟା ହେଲା ରିକରେନ୍ସ ନ୍ୟୁରାଲ ନେଟୱାର୍କସ୍, LSTM, ଲଙ୍ଗ ସର୍ଟ ଟର୍ମ ମେମୋରି। ସୋ ମୁଁ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ପଢ଼ଉଛି ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ପ୍ରୋସେସିଂ, ସୋ ଆଇ ଗୋ ଥ୍ରୁ ଦ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି। 2017ରେ ଗୋଟେ ପେପର ଆସିଲା, ଆଟେନସନ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଅଲ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ୟୁ ନିଡ୍, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଦିସ୍ ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡ୍ୟୁସ୍ ଦ ନୋସନ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସଫର୍ମର। Transformer baharla, there are many transformers that were proposed. BERT was very famous. GPT-2 baharla, GPT-3. So but these things were predictive. Mane, given a sequence, they will predict conquer period. Autoregressive is what we see in ChatGPT. Given a sequence of words, it predicts the next word. Next word ହେଇକା, you are getting an output. A big difference ହେଲା ତା ପରଠୁ जो chat GPT from GPT 2 3 ରୁ the big jump जोटा ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ chat GPT Gemini जोटा ହେଉଛି, there was an important concept, instruction tuning, and I will do a little bit because ଆମର ସେଥିରେ ଟିକେ contribution ଅଛି, and one of my student is kind of wrote the first paper on this. So I will explain what instruction tuning is actually without slides. So uh, yeah, I didn't have slides. So I was talking about supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So let's think of supervised learning. So supervised learning re kaun hue na, you are giving basically input and output. So you give a lot of data with inputs and outputs, and from that you kind of learn an interpolation function. So if you give a new input, it will give you a new output. So that was supervised learning, and that was going on ମାନେ ସବୁଆଡ଼େ ୟୁଜ୍ ହେଉଛି। ଏବେ ବି LLM ମାନଙ୍କର ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଷ୍ଟେପ୍ରେ ସେଇଟା supervised learning ହିଁ ୟୁଜ୍ ହେଉଛି। So what is instruction tuning କୋଉଠୁ ଆସିଲା ନା, supervised ଆମେ ତ ଗୋଟେ ମଣିଷକୁ କିଛି ଆମେ if we are teaching something, we don't just say, oh, for this thing input you do this is the output. We actually describe what is the task. Ki we are trying to teach you this, or you are supposed to learn this. We're giving you the instruction, what is it that you're trying to learn. So instruction tuning that started with Swarup actually is the paper, a natural cross-task generalization via natural language crowdsourcing instructions. The idea है कि in addition to input and output, you in to the input you add information about what is it that you are trying to learn. Say information. Then once you so what Swarup did is once he added that, tahale say you train with a lot of this, like this is the instruction or this is the task and this is the input, this is the output. ଏମିତି ବହୁତ ଦେଲା ପରେ, if you give a new task, it was able to learn new tasks. So this is the cross task generalization, and that is in a sense the whole concept behind our chat GPT harika, ki it can do new things that it hasn't been, you think hasn't been trained on. ତା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ମସିନ୍ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଯେଉଁ ହେଉଥିଲା ସୁପରଭାଇଜ୍ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂରେ ବେସିକାଲି ଇଟ୍ସ ଅ ଟାସ୍କ ବେସ୍, ଗୋଟେ ଟାସ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଏଇ ଇନପୁଟ୍ ଏଇ ଆଉଟପୁଟ୍, ଏଇ ଇନପୁଟ୍ ଏଇ ଆଉଟପୁଟ୍, ତେଣୁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଇନପୁଟ୍ ଦେଲେ ସେ ଟାସ୍କଟା ଶିଖି ସାରିଲା ପରେ ଦେ ୱିଲ୍ ଗିଭ୍ ଆଉଟପୁଟ୍। Now once you are able to add the information about what the task is now and train with that, then with a new task it can learn how to do a new tasks. So Swarup a paper takala. So this is kind of a, I was showing this is somebody from Edinburgh was trying to write the history of how this happened, and he put us in the top. Ki I mean, but so he did it in a very small scale, but say somewhere तार परे आसिला एठू Google रू OpenAI रू, so समाने भी बाहर कले तांकर version. So this was our first paper, Swarup Mishra, cross-stack generalization via this is another site, GitHub, right? So they list the sequence of papers on this topic. So this was kind of a, I mean, in a key way, Swarup kind of contributed to this. I don't know he's here or not. Now I'll give you a little bit technology behind the LLMs ଭିତରେ କ'ଣ ହେଉଛି। ଦୁର୍ଗା ଭାଇ ପଚାରୁଥିଲେ। So a chat GPT ବେଳକୁ there are kind of 4 steps. So the first step ta is जोटा आगुरु थिला GPT-2 GPT-3 रे भी थिला is basically what is the language model. Basically what this says is माने if we are reading a whole bunch of things and I give you 5 words, then you will be able to predict the next word. So that's what happens in this part. So but they take the whole library, every book, every text ନେଇକି ତା ଦେହରେ ଘୋଷି ଦଉଛନ୍ତି କି ଆମେ ତମକୁ ଯଦି 10ଟା word ଦେଲୁ ତା ପର word ଟା କଣ ହବ you predict. And that is what is the first step. And the second step is that was good, but not, I mean, that's where the instruction tuning asila. So each step is you are trying to say ki you're doing the input and output, and together you can add the instruction, input, output, train kale, then it can generalize to new tasks. So this is the step, is the supervised fine tuning, Raila. And next step रे एटा को क्वेश्चन सेतोले चैट जीपीटी और बाहर कला इट RLHF or reinforcement learning with human feedback. So in many kind of questions there is not a single answer. So if you have one kind of a prompt or something and there are 2 possibilities, then what ChatGPT did or OpenAI did, they collected a whole bunch of data saying ki a input this is preferred over this. So they say preference upare. On that preference, a reinforcement learning was used to respect that preference. So you can think of that current LLMs ର ଏଇଟା basic ଅଛି, but after this is 2023, they are not publishing anymore ତାଙ୍କର କ'ଣ ସବୁ ଅଛି. And I think I know କ'ଣ ତା ଉପରେ ଅଛି, ମାନେ we have ideas, but ତାପରେ ଆଉ କହୁନାହାନ୍ତି. Basically they have a agentic layer on top of it ତା ପୂର୍ବରୁ. So basically depending on what kind of instructions giving, they are trying to, how is my time? Okay, okay. So मते कहबे टिके आगुआ के तो टाइम सरला हम
5
केतो
minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Hey, Chitta, hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, ତମେ ଯୋଉ କହିଲନି ଯୋଉ ଯୋଉ OpenAI ଟା ଯୋଉ ଫାଇନ୍ ଟ୍ୟୁନ୍ କଲା ଯେତେବେଳେ ମାଇକ୍ରୋସଫ୍ଟ ଇନଭେଷ୍ଟ କଲା OpenAI ରେ, right, Satya? That part of the money was spent in Kenya and Nigeria to look at the responses of OpenAI. That is the only difference between, yeah, that was a big thing. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The human loop, yeah.
So recent positive highlights. So lots of LLMs are there. सुनते big success of LLM. मैंने बहुत success with math रे बे. I mean, I was very skeptical about it, but they are able to. LLMs are being helping in proving math theorems that many of the top people were not able to prove. So it's very interesting. And then cloud is a big thing on coding rates, become really good. Cloud kind of focused on coding, and it's very, very good at that. And of course, we have heard, I mean, at LLM luckily, AI or scientific discovery bahut hochi. And this is when I actually ran out of time to, I would have added more, so I ran out of time. But what are issues and challenges? And this is actually a complex thing. There are issues, but as researchers, we are trying to solve the issues, but I am actually worried also about impact on jobs. So it's a dichotomy, man. Should I solve the problem? But if I problem solve कला बेलକୁ एपटे job रे definitely impact अछि. माने आज एटा बाहरची tops ର कि approximately jobs are at risk of displacement. Any jobs needing has a lot of worries there कि job loss हबार chance अछि. There is all those issues are there. But then what are the kind of things issues we're solving? There's still LLMs have trouble. Man, this is a good example. The ChatGPT had that trouble. Opus actually didn't have this trouble. So it's a good example. I have hundreds of these examples. I'm giving one. So I want to ask my car, and the car was just 50 meters away from my home. Do you think I go there by walking or driving? So it's kind of thinking कि हाँ मैंने 50 मीटर को you should walk. So be honest, walking 50 meters is basically nothing. Driving there was the car is, you are adding dirt, brake, whatever it kind of focuses on, because it kind of shows it's not really intelligent. It's focusing on the 50-meter part, and 50 meters you should walk instead of driving. Of course, Opus is fine. You drive, you need the car at the car wash. If you're going to the car wash. And so this is the reason I put this example is there's the frontier is from pattern matching, you actually need to create a old model. Then you will not be able to make the mistake. So this is in terms of research, this is one of the frontier area. And Jan Lakun Bahari Aslemetarus Tankara Nijero, a company called 819 million euros already pilot startup. So that is one big thing about AI LLM direction. Other direction, the LLMs itself, they are pretty good another thing you could do is build agents around it to overcome this. So that's what many of the LLMs are doing. So these are the two things that are happening. So this was one 3-4 days actually back. I saw this. You can watch Eric Smith. If you really want to make money, found an agentic AI company. And this is, I'm serious actually. I've been talking with many students ki, so lots of ideas, and I even ଆମର ଯୋଉ AI summit ହେଲା ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ, we're trying to I was giving a tutorial on agents and wanted to help a company, anyone wants to do startups and agents. ଆଉ କେତେ ମିନିଟ୍ ରହିଲା? I have 2 more slides.
Right, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay, okay. So this is an example agent टा कौन ठीक है बुझे दो पे. So this is a made agent bench. So agent टा कौन? Now for example, this 2 is the agent. One hela if a clinician wants to kind of have a request, and ଏଠି ଭିତରେ there are all these electronic medical records हरिका ଅଛି. Now clinician ଯଦି ହବ ମାନେ ତାଙ୍କୁ if you are going to see some doctor, ତମ ରେକର୍ଡ ଦେଖିକି ତମର ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ଦିନର ରେକର୍ଡ ଇଜ ଫାଇନ୍, ଯଦି ମାସର ରେକର୍ଡ ଦେଖିବ, it's just not enough time to go through all of these things to really get a understanding. But if you have a quick question, so an agent, the clinician can ask in English, so check patient latest potassium level or some kind of a English idella. So the agent converts this to do the action. So the agent has an LLM. So LLM agent to nije buji pariben, so uses a LLM to understand this and is able to answer questions or from the using the EMR, or even make orders and so on. So this is one example of an agent. Another, if people are more interested to read this paper, Tau Bench, it describe as a airline agent or a retail agent. मनकर airline नामे तो phone करछे जो agent टा धरुची ताकू जदि तमे replace करिवो, then what kind of technology is needed? Or if you go to Target and you want to return something, if you want to replace that by a AI agent, what kind of things are there? And if these papers will give you challenges, what are the challenges? And we are working on many of these things, publishing on many of these things, and many interesting ideas. And my thought on this is basically, and my niche is a lot of the old AI people actually have retired and not there. So new AI people are thinking ki machine learning ru AI arambh hela. Because all the things I just showed you, a lot of the things, the old model as well as the things about the world model, all these things are star agents. They are some not something new. A lot of the old ideas there, say idea, बढ़िया बढ़िया ideas सब अच्छी. Those ideas put together with LLM powered things can push you ahead and make you money. That's what I'm also convincing my students, can take us much. It gives us a big lead and kind of a new. Not new, माने advantage over others जो माने कि खाली भाबुचंती कि machine learning रे सब हे जाउची बोली. So that's kind of my conclusion. So Becky, I will be happy to answer more questions later.
Thank
No,
you,
no,
Chitta bhai.
ଏବେ answer
Yes,
କରିବା.
I'm happy.
ହଁ ହଁ ଏବେ କିଛିଟା କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ପଚାରିବା. ଯେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ପଚାରିବେ ଟିକେ ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ ରେଜ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ, so that ମୁଁ ଜଣ ଜଣ କରିକି ଅନମ୍ୟୁଟ କରିକି କହିପାରିବି. ଦୁର୍ଗା ଭାଇ, first
Okay,
question.
more question ହେଲା, can I create a personal agent so that I can ask questions about everything, that because I can provide all the data that I have to my personal agent.
Yes, you can create.
Okay, that's all
Very
I
easy
want.
to create actually.
Okay.
And I
Chitta
can
bhai,
say,
follow-up question. ଯଦି already frontier model ଗୁଡା already agentic behave କରୁଛନ୍ତି, unless I have a industrial idea कि ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି ଗୋଟେ ଅଲଗା product ନ ବନୁଛି ନିଜ ଘର କାମ ପାଇଁ, should I just be happy with the frontier model which already has agentic behavior in it, or should I also consider building agent for myself?
I mean, building agent आजिकली so नुआ agent a lot of research agent build करिया पे जो software उड़ा तैयारी होची is not very hard. So as you, I mean, once you start using it, you'll see the flaws. And so frontier agent टा कौन होची मानकर गोटिए you ask the question गोटिए थरा रे दोची. So if you want to somebody to analyze your question, so if it's a complex question, then you need a agentic kind of architecture, and it's not very hard to build a agent to do it.
Okay. Amara Dr. Ajit Das. Ajit bhai has a question. Can you guide us in creating an agent? I think this is a question for everyone, he asked. We would need Chitta bhai gote hands-on session kebe gote asantu and teach us ki kemti, if we are thinking
Yeah,
about this.
ମୁଁ ତ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଏ semester ଗୋଟେ course ପଢୁଛି agentic AI ର, so I can condense it to and I did actually a presentation in Odisha exactly on agentic AI ର କରିବ, so I can create a do a hands-on thing about
ଚିତ୍ତ
building.
ବାବୁ ମୋର ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ୍ ଥିଲା ଏଇ ବିଷୟରେ
Uh-huh.
ଯେ ଯୋଉ ପର୍ସନାଲ ଏଜେଣ୍ଟଟା କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ କରାଯିବ ଏଥିରେ ତ ପର୍ସନାଲ ଡାଟା ସବୁ ଦିଆଯିବ ସୋ ସେଥିରେ କ'ଣ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଦେଇ ଅନ୍ୟ କୋଉଠି ପହଞ୍ଚିବ କି କ'ଣ କରିବ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ୍ ହବ ଏସବୁ ଜିନିଷ କିଛି ଅଛି କି ନା ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି ହେଇପାରିବ?
So no, that's a very good question. ତେଣୁ ଯଦି ଆପଣ ମନେକର ଓପନ୍ ଏଆଇ ର କରିବେ, ଓପନ୍ ଏଆଇ ନେଇଯାଇପାରିବ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଡାଟାକୁ, ବଟ୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଯଦି ନିଜର GPU ଅଛି, ନିଜେ ଗୋଟେ ଇନଷ୍ଟଲ୍ କରିବେ, ତାହେଲେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ରହିଲା ସେଇଟା।
ଓପନ୍ ଏଆଇ ମାନେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉଟାକ ଅଛି ଜେମିନାଇ, ଚାଟ୍ ଜିପିଟି ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ଓପନ୍
Alright, whatever you write, they will take it.
ଓକେ
Unless you have a specific contract, ମାନେ ଆମ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର ଗୋଟେ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରାକ୍ଟ ଅଛି, ତେଣୁ if I am using OpenAI through ଆମ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି through ରେ, then they are not taking it.
ସୋ ତାମାନେ ମତେ ଗୋଟେ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ ଗୋଟେ ଓପନ୍ ଏଆଇ ମାନେ କ'ଣ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଦରକାର ତା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ଲିଷ୍ଟ ବନେଇବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ ନା କ'ଣ?
ନା ମାନେ ଆଇଦର ମୁଁ ସେଟା OpenAI ସାଙ୍ଗରେ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରାକ୍ଟ କରିବାକୁ କେତେ ସହଜ I don't know ସେଇ ପାର୍ଟଟା. What we do is ଆମର ନିଜର GPU ଅଛି, ଆମେ we install ମନେକର various versions of Queen or something LLM ଯୋଉଟା free LLM ଯୋଉଟା ମିଳୁଛି ନିଜେ ଇନଷ୍ଟଲ୍ କରିଦଉଛୁ, ତାହେଲେ it doesn't go anywhere, ଆମର କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟରରେ ରହିଲା।
ତାମାନେ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ସେପାରେଟ୍ ଏଆଇ ସିଷ୍ଟମ୍ ତିଆରି କରୁଛନ୍ତି?
kind of ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଏଆଇ ସିଷ୍ଟମଟା ଆମେ ଲୋଡ୍ କରିକି ଆମ କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟରରେ ରଖିଛୁ।
ନିଜର ଓନ୍ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଆପଣ ରାସ୍ପବେରୀ ପାଇ ବି ୟୁଜ କରିକି କରିପାରିବେ ବି ସେଇଟା।
ରାସ୍ପବେରୀ ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ସେଗୁଡା ବହୁତ ଛୋଟ ହବ, ଜିପିୟୁ ଟିକେ ବୋଧେ ଚିତ୍ତ ଭାଇ ଯୋଉଟା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ବଡ ସାଇଜ ର କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ମାନେ ମ୍ୟାକ୍ ମିନି ଭଳିଆ କ'ଣ ଗୋଟେ ଜିପିୟୁ ସାଇଜ ଦରକାର।
ଅନିଲ ବହୁତ ଆଗରୁ ହାତ ଟେକିଛି।
ଅନିଲ ଭାଇ
ଚିତ୍ତ ଭାଇ ନମସ୍କାର ଆଉ ଥରେ। ୱଣ୍ଡରଫୁଲ ଟକ୍, ମାନେ ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ଜିନିଷ ଜାଣିବାକୁ ମିଳିଲା। ମତେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ as you are talking, lot of time whenever people talk about AI, they talk about like କେତେ job ପଳେଇ ଯିବ, ମାନେ କେତେ job will be lost to AI, but people don't talk how many AI jobs will be created, new AI jobs, like ଆପଣ ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ କଥା ଯେମିତି କହୁଛନ୍ତି, can you give an insight to it?
Actually, nobody can. Money, it's a uncharted territory. There will be definitely new jobs will be there. कितनी कौन transition टा हब्बा मने optimistic side की you will look back at history and there is a chaotic period रहिबा किसी वर्ष and things will adjust. That's the optimistic side. But it's uncharted territory, I would say. I am so to I am started focusing on more applications ସେଥିପାଇଁ କି ମୋତେ ଭଲ ଜିନିଷ କରିପାରିବ, so I will focus on that.
ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଥିବେ ବୋଧେ ଗୋଟେ ରିସେଣ୍ଟ ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ପଲ ମୁଁ ପଢିଥିଲି କୋଉଠି କି ଯୋଉ ରେଡିଏସନ ଫିଜିସିଷ୍ଟ ଯୋଉମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କର ମାନେ there was a point where people thought that ସେମାନଙ୍କ ଜବ୍ ଗୁଡାକ AI ନେଇଯିବ because AI can read ଗୁଡାକ ମାନେ ଏକ୍ସରେ ସେଗୁଡାକୁ ବେଟର ରିଡ୍ କରିପାରିବ କହିକି, but it turned out that yes, it gives a way more detailed information, but then somebody still needs that interpretation. For that interpretation part, they needed more people now. On average, number of people increase there. So, is that something that is going to be a trend in everything? That's probably kind of a question.
That's a positive view, optimistic view, positive view. As I said, the thoughts are changing every same day. You will get two different articles, one saying ki job loss both of, another saying ki nuwa job so basibo. So I don't think anybody knows can predict for sure kon hochi. I think there will, as before, some kind of jobs will be lost, some kind of new jobs will come. So ketata asibo ketata jibo is one has to see.
Thank you, Jittu.
Okay, sorry. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I was wondering about the quality of life, and one thing I realized that with AI, for example, I'm using Perplexity now because my brother told me, and it is Perplexity Pro is known for research, right? One thing I realized that it's like talking to a good friend who knows a lot about everything. So it's not really, I do not know what job is going to be lost by doing that, but at least people are going to be happier because they have better answers to questions and they're going to one place. But so I was just thinking that it might have an impact because people have more, like they use Google. This is actually an advanced Google if you're using something which has more research. But I don't think it is completely AI.
IT companies, they're
Mm.
and if you ask like Microsoft hiring managers and so on, they're all being told actually ବର୍ଷେ ମତେ ନୀଳମାଧବ ମହାପାତ୍ରଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା ହଉଥିଲି କିଛି ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ ସେ କହୁଥିଲେ ମାନେ କିଛି ବର୍ଷ ନାହିଁ କିଛି ମାସ ତଳେ ତାଙ୍କର ଗ୍ରୁପରେ there is a pressure in various this thing ki no more hiring ତମର ଯେତିକି ଅଛି ତା ଡବଲ କାମ କର ମାନେ ତମକୁ କ୍ଲାଉଡ ଦିଆ ହେଲା କ୍ଲାଉଡ ତ କୋଡ ଲେଖୁଛି so why do you new hire ତମେ ବେଶୀ କାମ କର so a lot of these things are happening but sometimes people are saying ki ସେମାନେ actually wanted to fire people they are using AI as an excuse so we don't know ସତଟା କୋଉଟା କି ହଉଛି କି ନାହିଁ but there is loss there ତାପରେ ଆମର ଏଠି Phoenix ରେ for example we have tons of automated cars Waymo ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି and they're pretty good actually and many ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ସାଙ୍ଗ ତାଙ୍କ ୱାଇଫ୍ କହୁଥିଲା କି she prefers Waymo ରାତିରେ ଆସିଲେ ଏୟାରପୋର୍ଟରୁ ସେ କହିଲା I don't want to call a Uber or a cab Waymoରେ କେହି ଲୋକ ନାହାନ୍ତି I can ଆରାମସେ ବସିବି ଆସିବି I'm not worried so
Yeah.
we don't know ମାନେ କ'ଣ
So quality of life does.
will be
Yeah.
Namaskar.
oh, sorry.
Hi, Dr. Chitta.
Hi,
Can you
hi.
hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was unable to attend the beginning of your talk. I just joined a few minutes ago. I would like to ask you if you've seen OpenClaw and any use cases you like around OpenClaw.
Yeah, I mean, we have started actually building up an auto research to see how our AI research can be helped using OpenClaw, and we're getting working on some papers. I mean, these things are happening very quickly, so I think it's going to be useful.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I've been thinking about it from like a investment memo or quarterly reporting point of view. So was curious to get your thoughts there. That's good to know that you're also thinking about the space. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Chitta bhai. We are always, as always, the entire community is indebted to the knowledge you bring in. Kintu definitely gote agentic upare apna gote hands-on next time apna dekhiବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବୁ ଆଉ best way to connect Chitta bhai has already posted his number. That's good. Otherwise, LinkedIn also you can follow him up. Okay, right? ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ
ଗୋଟେ
next
କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା ମୋର ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା ଚିତ୍ତ ଭାଇଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଚିତ୍ତ ଭାଇ ଗ୍ରେଟ୍ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟେସନ ଆମର ମାନେ corporates universities they can collaborate and they can have contract to have privacy and protection of the data but what's about the public because public cannot have their own LLM or anything like personal thing like what
ମାନେ my guess is there is a competitive space ଅଛି ତେଣୁ public ଯଦି ଚାହିଁବେ I mean I haven't explored them I think there might be already there if not there will be ମାନେ ଯଦି public ଚାହିଁବେ କି ମୋ data ଟା protect ହବ so you can get that kind of an account and you have to pay more or something I mean ଯଦି ନାହିଁ that's a good one you can create a company for that somebody that is not there you create a company so that it happens right
That is a good idea.
now is there any research going like any insights on that
ହଁ ନା ଇନସାଇଟ୍ ସେ କହିଲେ ମାନେ ଆଇଦର ତମେ ନିଜର ୟୁଜ୍ କରି ଗୋଟେ ଫ୍ରି LLM ତମେ ଇଏ କରି କରିବ ଯଦି କମ୍ପାନୀ ମାନେ ଦଉନାହାନ୍ତି I think they should somebody should a competitive space ରେ but if not if you do research and find କି କେହି କମ୍ପାନୀ ଦଉନାହାନ୍ତି it's a good idea to create a company so you can create a upper layer and as a company as you said they can have a contract with OpenAI and then the local will join your interface and do the things and you will protect their thing so jadi seta nahi this is a good idea for a company
thank you
thank you everyone thank you Chitta bhai ଆମେ ଏବେ ଦୁର୍ଗା ଭାଇକି ଇନଭାଇଟ୍ କରିବା ଦୁର୍ଗା ଭାଇ ଆପଣ share କରିବେ screen share କରିବେ ନା କହିବେ ନା କରନ୍ତୁ
More actually this will be a completely different thing now so I do not know what I will do here so but I would like to do either topic ta mate se kahila that actually I have no idea how to deal with this topic Kathala, oh sorry, I think I did something. different. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So imagining Odisha in the AI chip design ecosystem, that actually I couldn't really figure it out what to do. So I said, okay, I'll just talk about this little bit AI hardware that we are talking about, NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is doing AI chips, and Odisha is AI chip design hub, and what is the workforce development. So that's what I was thinking. So the idea is I'll start from the basics. Now the chip designs, if you look at the transistor, this is actually 100 years of field effect transistor. This is IEEE is celebrating this year. So I said, now we are going from 180 nanometer. This was a transistor there. And transistor was actually the first patent was filed in 1925. So then it keeps on going, and transistor is also changing its shape. The planar transistor or simple transistor was there, then it became FinFET, and the gate all around FET, and then there's a CFET now. This is called complementary FET. And the design complexity, because the transistor is changing, the design complexity also changing. How to design this type of chips, the electron design automation tools that we have. So those are actually also changing. And if you look at, there is a lot of new materials are actually being introduced. And then that is towards the manufacturing. But when you add new materials, it's also a design cycle. You can see the number of masks you use to translate a design into silicon is also changing in a huge numbers actually changing. So this is some of the examples that I have in terms of how the transistor shape is changing and all sort of things. It looks like inside the diameter of our hair, you can have around 20,000 to 30,000 transistors now. Just imagine the diameter of human hair, and all of them will work really, really nicely. And this is okay. The first integrated circuits that was Jack Kilby came out with one transistor and four other simple devices. So that got the Nobel Prize. But today we have 208 billion transistors and by NVIDIA chips. So this is actually changing. Yes, this is actually changing the dynamics of the design space all over the world. So every company, those who are developing EDA tools, they are also, and then now AI is coming to the EDA tools. Can we design chips without human interference? Just give the idea, then it will design by itself. I know that thing, the basic designs that came, then it became silicon compilers. When the silicon compilers came, it will automatically generate a lot of layouts. And those that actually a long history is like 30 years ago. And now this is also changing everything. So you have to make sure everything is working. So another thing also is happening is the IoT devices. IoT devices are everywhere now. When you have IoT devices everywhere and every application, you can say, okay, agriculture, healthcare, we are talking about. And the people are trying to, already you know that thing in our life, ସବୁଆଡେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଲାଗିଗଲାଣି IoT devices. So parking garage to ଆମ ଘରେ ଯୋଉ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର actually it is all lot of things we can do by our phone. So those are the IoT devices. So that comes actually first. If you look at the IoT devices, we have fundamental things that started. We have a sensor which detects the information and then read out, and you have A to D converters and all sort of things that because normally everything is analog. Say to digital ko convert karikari, you can set that thing and send some communication to cloud, and cloud will tell you, okay, this is so that all of us we can access and we can do that thing. Now what happens, the idea is why not we put something in there in the IoT devices, make them smart. That means they will not send everything, because sending cloud communication is cost money. And so that's why a lot of work going on the chip designs, how to put in a very low power smart AI chips inside the IoT devices, so they can make the decision and only send when it is required to the cloud. And in there is something called power electronics, the power management of these IoT devices. Some of them are actually powered. Some of them you have to put a battery inside. Let's say if you put in the farm, you put a battery there and you go and replace the battery. And some cases you have to put to learn the wind speed in the top of the mountain. Then you want that battery to last for 10 years, or you have to find some alternate battery system. So there are a lot of the communication, the demand of applications actually changing the chip design space. So what I was saying, another thing also, we know that thing, first of all, the power consumption of any chips, you might have heard these data centers using huge amount of power and all those AI things also. In the previous, when Google started and all those search engines, whatever the things they were using those days has completely changed. Now with the AI applications, the data amount, the power requirement is huge. So then someone says, how to reduce the power? You can reduce the power in transistor level, basic small transistors. Plus, you can reduce the power in the circuit level, reduce the power in architecture level, how everything is put together, and reduce the power in the systems level, in the software level, everywhere. People are trying every day. But we are not reaching the goal, and you might have heard about the power requirement of all those data centers worldwide is a serious problem. Another thing also, the microprocessor that was designed for us before, don't worry about all those pictures, it's not that much technical here. I will just tell you these things. The way the microprocessor working, every step it will make a step and you have to send to the memory and then bring it back to go to the next step. It's very fast, but it was doing that way. And that was actually a big bottleneck. So now the entire architecture of the, even any processing architecture, whether it's GPU or CPU, they are working in a called in-memory architecture. They said, why do all those processing in a processor rather than just give the instruction memory, inside the memory, everything will be done. So you have a processor unit and you have a memory unit, memory does everything. And that reduces a lot of latency and power consumption and low energy, of course. Then another thing is happening, communication. So now this is the communication actually is energy hungry to send those things. There is okay, now you have to apply the neural networks to design the chips. That is called multiply, accumulate. That's considered the MAC concept. So that goes in the large NVIDIA chips, the same principles. Okay, different type of architectures, but the basic principle is all based on neural networks. That means it has a synapse. And they are using a single synapse. There are billions of synapse, electronic synapse there. And a single synapse is 8 transistors. And that's why the power consumption is huge. And it's very expensive to build those chips. So this is sort of the idea. Now, another thing also, the computational model that is there, the CPU compute model is a processor, compiler, all those things there. Now something called the AI accelerator model. This is using the neural networks. We had in our university, there is several faculty members there designing chips, how to build those things in a certain way. So this is sort of an introduction. Now going back to whether Odisha can be a big hub, yes, it can be, and it has all those attributes. Okay, this is another thing also I will tell you about the biological neural networks. It's all go through a synapse. And then the synapse is actually, they call it the weight. When you send some information for the learning process, the systems learns very fast. That's why it can reply to you so quickly. Because the learning process, they have a weight. You design that is the synapse which will have the weight. And this is an example of the 8 transistor electronic synapse. And then you send some input, you have different weights, optimize, make sure it learns. Learns means you set up the weight values, and then you get the output. And that way, actually, things can learn. You can do a lot of matrix multiplication, mathematics things, everything. People are trying to translate all the 8 transistors to a single dot, that means nano device, but it's not there yet. It will take quite some time because of the power requirement and reliability. So coming back, Odisha as a AI chip design hub. Actually, our vision is to transform Odisha into a global hub for AI-driven semiconductor design and manufacturing. Manufacturing is still further away, but the design can be already. There is some companies already started, but it's a small way. And the if you have 120 companies, then we have around 5,000 high-end deep technology jobs in the state. And Odisha has the strategic advantage. It's a very cost efficient, the policy support, because the government of Odisha has already come up with a semiconductor technology and design support. And it's a very good connectivity. And like we have an airport everywhere now, and of course, talent. And looking at the EDA tools that is we are going to use or apply to the EDA tools, Synopsys, there are 3 major companies now, those who are providing the design facilities for the to design AI chips. The Cadence, Synopsys, and Siemens EDA, they were providing that thing, but Synopsys and Cadence are the leading. The main thing is actually, if you look at many universities in Odisha, the engineering colleges, they have cadets because the government of India has given to the universities a subsidized rate for the university to have electronic design automation. I am not really sure what are the advanced courses they are teaching, how many faculty teaching on AI acceleration and AI technology in there. But the chips can be designed very easily and the student can be learned. So this is, Synopsys has a office in Bhubaneswar already, and they have several people working. For example, if you see, they call Synopsys Design Center. I don't think they are whether they are designing chips or developing, updating the tools by applying AI. So many industries are coming. This is RIR, the power electronics company. They're coming, and there is a heterogeneous integration company. I'll talk about a little bit. Heterogeneous integration is now. In the past, everybody was trying to design a single chip. Let's say like NVIDIA chip is a 8 billion transistors. Now there is a trend coming that there are small chip, they're called chiplets. You can design the chiplets and you put them together in a different packaging system. That's a systems on package. So those things are actually happening in a big way. And then the silicon carbide company that is going to be established, I think they have a good collaboration with R&D in IIT Bhubaneswar, and many more companies will come. These are manufacturing companies, and also design companies. I'm not sure how many chip design companies there. The AI specific chips for Odisha will be threefold. I showed it to the IoT. They're called AGI. And designing low power chips for the IoT, healthcare, and smart agriculture. That is supposed to be the focus. And the worldwide, there is a huge demand for those things also in the low cost. And advanced packaging also, the chiplet designs. So that is also in heavy demand. There is, US government is spending close to $1 billion this year itself for the chiplet designs. And many companies have come up how to put the chips together, the chiplets together, so that you can have a best packaging. And the vernacular part also, there is AI integration using AI chips to power the Odia Bhasadhan that is happening. So there are a lot of focus areas that if we can do that, and then so this is sort of the ecosystem that needs to be built there. And coming back to the workforce development, we have, let's say, Silicon University has Cadence. They have a VLSI program, KIIT, ITR in SOA they have, and NIST has. The IIT Bhubaneswar has they have a chip design MTech program, plus the Silicon Carbide Research Innovation Center that was built. I think that was the minister came and opened that one. I have no idea where the status the silicon carbide and gallium nitride, these are the materials that is used for the power electronics chips. That is also a heavy demand. So India is trying to get into the power electronics area in a big way, because if you look at the IoT, there is always a power electronics component in the IoT devices, no matter wherever they are placed, whether this is inside in the field or in the mountain or in the forest, all those will use power electronics. So this is what my view. Actually, I also look at some of the, I searched a little bit in the internet, and these things I know which university has that, but they have also training programs. Sometime if you have basic electrical engineering or computer science, computer engineering, or even other areas, sometimes they have a VLSI chip design programs in the summer. So they are trying to do those things, and many of them actually, those who are good, they are going to Bangalore. So if we can keep them in Odisha, and some companies come up with the small companies like Chitta was saying, that if you find out what is not there, then we can start designing chips for that, and there will be always a demand, because once you complete the design, you can send it to a fabrication vendor, whether it's Samsung or TSMC in Taiwan. They will send you the chip, and once you have the prototype, and that is what whole thing works. Okay, so that's probably the thing. The other thing I want to let's say future is the intelligence. So that's what we have to think about. The other thing is happening is device and material co-design. People are looking at what type of device we'll need for the AI applications, and how the material can be restructured using the machine learning algorithm. They are coming up with different compound materials. And then you cannot make a device without the circuits. So the circuits and device co-design, that is also big focus in the future of semiconductors in the United States on the CHIPS Act. And that is also applied in ISC Bangalore. I met some people, they are also seriously focusing. And then the systems level, for example, if a graph neural network and it's completely different algorithm for a particular application, you have to co-design with the circuits, the system and circuits co-design. That is what actually happening. So the AI specific designs, all these things are AI specific now. People are thinking actually in the future, the power savings, power management, and also intelligent applications oriented chips that can make the decision on the spot. And as I said, and then the compound semiconductor. Since we have a compound semiconductor, silicon carbide or gallium nitride companies will be coming to Odisha, we've got to think about how those things can happen. So this is sort of my closing remarks. So I think I finished early or whatever. So we can ask any questions now.
ଉତ୍କଳ ଭାଇ ତମ
Yes.
ହାତ ଆଗେ
Thank you, Durga bhai. So the question होचे आमे तो chip design, chip रे जो concept आपण कहिले रही आछि ये करी आछि. So what has changed now that we think कि ओडिशा सति पई conducive अछि, but now the opportunity is there for Odisha to invest in it.
जो ओडिशा रे जो कंपनी माने वर्तमान आछंती, there is going to happen. There is no way we can avoid semiconductor companies not to come to Odisha. Once they come, so this is completely different thing. I gave her some idea only. Once they come to there, they would like to they will get the designs from United States or from Bangalore. But if you have locally, what happens? There is an interaction. The company says, okay, our devices works this way. Can you change the design and get it done? So that is why there is a need. Whenever there is a manufacturing unit, the design places should be close by for new designs. So that is what my feeling is. That's why we need something, build an ecosystem in Odisha. And we are actually training a lot of students. There are some bright students. They go to design for Intel and other places in Bangalore, or come here or whatever reason. So that is what actually, this is my opinion probably.
Okay, thank you. Anil bhai?
Thank you. Durga, this is awesome. I mean, the hardware part that you talked about
Yeah.
for the AI implementation and all, like you talked about the power requirements and so on. It's heading towards nanometer level electronics now, right? I mean, like few nanometer kind of electronics.
Yes.
And then it'll get to the quantum regime. जोटिकी मते मजा अछि.
No. Quantum regime re, suno. Quantum regime re.
Yeah.
Quantum is completely different. Quantum
Okay.
chips will be completely different. These chips that we are
I
talking about,
I
ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ରହିବ ସବୁଦିନ ଯାଏ.
that's right. That's right.
Quantum will be a niche circuits that we will use in computers,
Yes.
combining with silicon chips.
Yes.
Or
So
yeah, go ahead.
Mo question ta moro thila. I mean, I know the quantum computing, quantum side that is different.
Yeah.
But the question that I wanted to ask is like getting to few nanometer is already getting to the level of like reaching the classical domain. I mean, classical limit
Limit.
पहुंच
Yeah.
गलानी. So AI implementation at that kind of limit,
Mhm.
is there any big progress in that direction that where it's in the interface almost like classical quantum interface ପାଖାପାଖି ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ?
Yeah. So the main thing hela jo transistor size small hele, you know, very small right now. So that's why people are thinking that କେମିତି ଆମେ କରିଦବା AI ରେ so that you will save a lot of power. A lot of power and what are the architectures so that the more power saving. ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ କହିଲି ଯୋଉ NVIDIA using for one synapse, they are using 8 transistor, and 8 transistor will be always in the process of when you are learning, their state changes all the time. So that consumes a lot of power. Any learning circuits right now is consuming a lot of power, because if I want to teach some image, let's say detect it's a cat or dog, it will have that thing to get an exact picture of the dog and all different type of dogs. It will have learning. So optimize the learning. To do optimized learning, you go through many cycles depending on your the GPU you have. Okay. So because of that, actually, it's consuming a lot of power. That's why the data centers are actually consuming a lot of power. So the idea is how to go and so that you reduce the power, use the tiny transistors and get it working. So those are the new focus. The design companies are also scratching their heads. They kimidi ame kardava so that some steps that is manually done by human beings can be automatically done by AI.
Right. ମୋର ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ follow-up question ଅଛି ଏଥିରେ hardware ଉପରେ. GPUs are becoming extremely expensive. ଯୋଉଠି ବି GPU ଯାହା ବି ଯାହାର ଥିଲା, it's extremely expensive now. Do you foresee, I mean, from the hardware perspective, do you foresee that ये जो AI implementation, synaptic implementation जो ଆପଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି, it will evolve to the extent that GPU demand, the current GPU demand will shift towards more of synaptic like GPUs and so on?
Yes. What will happen actually, ଆମର ଯୋଉ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ laptop ଆମେ use କରୁଛେ, those laptops will be GPUs. So that state has not come, but that's why the ଆମର ଯୋଉ discussion ହେଇଥିଲା ଯେ personal data. So if I have everything in my laptop, then you cannot steal that unless somebody hacks it. But that GPUs will be coming to every household. Once that happens, then you can protect our data. So those are the things people are also thinking, that how to send everybody, like iPad came, so every household has an iPad. So now that type of things will have GPUs coming to every household. That is what actually the chip designer thinking. You cannot make if a laptop sometimes get very hot. You have a fan running, or sometimes these metal laptops, because of that thing, because it's radiations friendly. So it radiates the heat that is generated. So the major concern right now, the amount of heat that will be generated by GPUs, even if it is small scale for household, they don't have structures. You cannot put inside water or put a connector to water cooling. Even the GPUs, that is university GPUs, they are so hot. In the room, if you have a powerful GPU, sometime in the lab, the professors want, okay, I want to have my own GPU. And then it's very hot. A lot of heat generation depending on the quality or advanced GPU that you're buying.
That's right.
So those things will change. So there is a lot of companies are thinking that way, how to bring GPUs to everybody's home.
Yeah. Thank you, Durga bhai.
ଆଉ କଣ ଗୋଟେ
ए दुर्गा मु
ହଁ
सुनील गोटे क्वेश्चन ये मु
ହଁ
ये जो जीटीसी जली हला
ହଁ
जेसन वांग तुम देखिथो यूट्यूब रे
ହଁ
से
ହଁ
सड़ा शेष रे कोन बिकुची बेरा रूबेन बिकुची राइट हला बेरा रूबेन रो सीक्रेट सॉस होची एनवी लिंक्स
ହଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର କଟିଗଲା
India should buy a Vera Ruben. Why they don't the GPU but network switch ହେଲା जा system design ହେଲା memory ହେଲା सब इंडिया रे करा हो जेमी चाइना करूची see that will
ହଁ yeah that will spread all over India then Odisha should
yeah you
take
know
a lead
yeah
and do that
see
thing
आसिगिरी हमरो bureaucrat को जिबे बिकी देबे Vera Ruben nobody believes right मुझे better you
yeah.
know we built from scratch you know you get only GPU from Nvidia से idea रे केमती yeah
And actually this thing happening but then for example Qualcomm they are also making they are going to they are sending for example into sending universities forget about Jetson Nano and all those things that is Nvidia is selling you take our it will do a better job and we are getting it free to and the students love it sometimes some of the devices that Qualcomm is sending they are pretty good so things are going to change right now nobody is competing with Nvidia and but other companies are already jumping into the fray so the price will go down and also
ମୁଁ ତ କହୁଛି
monopoly
ଚାଇନା
will
ଇଜ ଏ
change.
परफेक्ट मॉडल फॉर इंडिया खाली जीपीयू ଆଣ ବାକି ସବୁ ନିଜେ କର ଆଉ ନିଜ ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ ଚାକିରି ଦିଅ ନିଜେ ସବୁ କର दैट्स द बेस्ट यू नो
so those are the ହେଇପାରିବ but those are actually in the prime minister level and the policy level correct
ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଇନଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ ମୁଁ ଏଠି ଦେଖୁଥିଲି ଏଠି ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିଜ ମାନେ ସିମ୍ପଲ ପିସିବି ଡିଜାଇନ ଯୋଉଟା ହଉଛି ଚାଇନାକୁ ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ମାନେ 7-8ଟା କପି ମାନେ ପିସିବି ଡିଜାଇନ $7 $10 ଭିତରେ ମିଳିଯାଉଛି ମାନେ ଏଇଠି ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟସ ମାନେ ଡିଜାଇନ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବଟ ଦେ ଗେଟ୍ ଇଟ୍ ଡନ୍ ଇନ୍ ଚାଇନା ତେଣୁ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ଯଦି ଓଡିଶାରେ ଯଦି ସେଇଭଳିଆ ହେଇପାରିବ ଦ୍ୟାଟ ଇଜ ଏ ହ୍ୟୁଜ ମାର୍କେଟ
yeah that is a manufacturing PCB design system unit and they will get the get everywhere from by electronics way and then print it and mail it right away so this is a very simple technique so for example in our school there is a system the students can design their own very quickly multi-layer PCBs yeah କିନ୍ତୁ କଣ କରିବା ସେଟା କିଏ କରିକି ବସିଲେ ସିନା ହବ and you have to do
ନାଇଁ ଦେଖ ଓଡିଶାରେ ମାନେ ସେମିକଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟର ମୁଁ ଇଣ୍ଟେଲ ରେ କାମ କରିଛି ସୋ ଆଇ नो लिटिल बिट सो सेमीकंडक्टर असेंबली ए पॉलिसी से पॉलिसी 1000 घंटा पॉलिसी बट दुर्गा जी you know forget the student PCBs right we are thinking about Odisha thinking about India right that kind of manufacturing where we just get GPU but everything our own that will change the world you know
no that is actually happening because ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଟା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଇଟା exactly ଅନ୍ୟ ଲୋକମାନେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ asking the policy makers that is the type of investment we will do rather than
that one
okay
needed
that is actually happening yes and they are also realizing that the designs also a lot of designs they don't have to buy from others even they can design themselves and manufacture there and they don't need some of these IoT devices for example the edge AI edge computing there ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ ଯୋଉ 1 nanometer 3 nanometer transistor you don't need that and that is enough power for those applications many of those IoT applications so that is also they are thinking about seriously I was reading some articles that is also coming up that let's don't go to the state of the art technology but start something in 45 nanometer technology and ଶସ୍ତାରେ କରିଦେବା yeah that is also happening
नहीं इंडिया रे कोन आमे अफ्रीका लैटिन अमेरिका चारियाड आमे देई परिबा ना यू नो जेमिति मारुति गाड़ी राइट तयारी करे चारियाड
that is one thing the other thing also India रे वर्तमान आउ गोटे प्रॉब्लम हैला तांकर जेते सब चिप तयारी होची डिफेंस पाई they will be all blocked unless we have our own manufacturing and design places by chance there is a supply chain problem ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ବନ୍ଦ ହେଇଗଲେ ଆମେ କୁଆଡୁ ଯିବା ଆମର competitive advantage will just disappear ତେଣୁ that is also they are thinking everybody is thinking that thing but implementation takes time in India ରେ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଯାହା କଲେ ଆଜି ଭାବିଲେ 2 ବର୍ଷ ପରେ ହବ ଯୋଉଟା that's what happens but things will change
Thank you, Durga bhai. In
ତାପରେ
interest of
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆମର ଓଡିଶାରେ ବି ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଗୋଟେ ଆମର ଅପରଚୁନିଟି ବହୁତ ଅଧିକା, କାହିଁକିନା ଓଡିଶା ଇଜ ସରପ୍ଲସ୍ ଇନ୍ ଇଲେକ୍ଟ୍ରିସିଟି, କାହିଁକିନା ଡେଟା
That
ସେଣ୍ଟର୍ସ କନଜ୍ୟୁମ୍ସ ଲଟ୍ସ ଅଫ୍ ଇଲେକ୍ଟ୍ରିସିଟି। ତେଣୁ
yes, yes.
ଓଡିଶାରେ ୱାଟର ଆଉ ଇଲେକ୍ଟ୍ରିସିଟି ସରପ୍ଲସ୍, ତେଣୁ
Okay,
ଓଡିଶା
ଯୋଉ
ତାର
ଶୁଣ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଆଇଡିଆ ଗୁଡା ତମେ ମତେ କହୁନ, ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ଆଇଏଏସ୍ ଅଫିସର ମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ବି କହୁଛନ୍ତି that is correct, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେମାନେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆମର, ମୁଁ ଜଣଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ଦେଖା କରିଥିଲି ଏଇ few months ago, ସିଏ କହିଲେ he is in charge of 3 energy, IT and all 3 different departments, and he cannot even think about writing a proposal to get it done because every day he's attending meeting from 8 o'clock till 9 p.m. So he's so tired, he's forgetting that thing. So there's not enough people to think and process and do things. So they know all those things. It's not like they don't know. And because they have power surplus, they can go to the central government, apply and ask for the funding to have a data center built in Odisha. And they are working on it, but I don't know when it is going to happen. It should happen very quickly. And these companies also from USC, there was a negotiation they had in Google. Google is building a big data center in Andhra Pradesh. So that can be done also in Odisha because India needs huge number of data centers. It's not just 1 or 2,
Okay.
So all are
Thank
good
you.
ideas, but implementation and all these things, we pray God, and Jagannath will do that. ଜଗନ୍ନାଥ ଆମକୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଇଚ୍ଛା କରିବେ ସେତେବେଳେ ସବୁ ହେଇଯିବ।
ସେଇଟା ତ ଚ୍ୟାଲେଞ୍ଜ।
Durga bhai, thank you so much
Okay,
for
thank
the
you,
conversation. ଆମେ connected ରହିବା. This is very nice. ଆମେ ମାନେ ହାର୍ଡୱେयर ବିଷୟରେ କେବେ actually ଭାବି ନଥିଲୁ, ଭଲ କଲେ ହାର୍ଡୱେयर ଟପିକ ଟା ଆଣିଲେ. This is very enlightening.
I can
କାରଣ
go to much simpler level and all those things, but I thought this is just an example of what's going on.
No, this is great. This is great. ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଭଲ conversation ଟା spark କରିଛି, particularly जो माने younger professional who are looking for opportunities in career को କୋଉ direction ରେ ପଢିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛୁ, କଣ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛୁ, they have great hopes. Thank you so much. ତ ଆମେ ଏବେ we will shift gears. ଆମେ ମାନେ ଏବେ hands-on lab ପାଇଁ ଯିବା। ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ସତ୍ୟବ୍ରତଙ୍କୁ invite କରିବି, and I'll quickly share my desk to share my screen to give a little bit hint. ତ ଏବେ ଆଜି ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା, ସତ୍ୟବ୍ରତ is going to work hands on, ତେଣୁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ instruction couple minutes ରେ ଆପଣ laptop ଗୋଟେ ପାଖରେ ରଖିଥାନ୍ତୁ so that କିଛିଟା try କରିପାରିବେ। ସତ୍ୟବ୍ରତ and I will both facilitate. This is going back to Professor Chitta Baral ଯୋଉ କହିଲେ ଆମର ଯେ AI କୋଉ କୋଉ ଏରିଆ କୁ ଯାଇଛି, this is a anthropic provided ଯେ କୋଉ କୋଉ ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ରେ କେତେ AI ର ୟୁସେଜ ହେଇପାରୁଛି। ଯେତେ ଅଧିକା ବ୍ଲୁ ଯେତେ କ୍ଲୋଜ ଯାଉଛି to the circumference ଆପଣ ଜାଣିବେ ସେତେ ଯାଇ ସାରିଛି ଆକୁ। ତେଣୁ ଯେମିତି consulting, management consulting, business and finance, computer and math, ଏଇଗୁଡାକୁ frontier model ଗୁଡା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ they are getting closer to almost getting everything done. ଯେମିତି ଆମର human level ରେ ଯେମିତି କରିପାରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେମିତି level ରେ architecture engineering is pretty good. Life social science some ways to go, but social services ରେ ବହୁତ ପଛରେ ଅଛି, right? Social service ରେ AI ର intervention ବହୁତ କମ ଅଛି। OSA as a community we can think of that, then କେମିତି ହଉଛି, and then legal area को काफी आगକୁ ଯାଇ ସାରିଛି। education and library area ରେ କମ ଅଛି। art and media ରେ କମ ଅଛି, ଠିକ ଅଛି। healthcare practitioner because ଆମର healthcare ବହୁତ privacy concerns and really focus ଦରକାର, ସେଥିରେ ଏତେ ଯାଇପାରନି, but it is getting there. protective services, food servicing, ଯୋଉଗୁଡା ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଯେତେ ଅଧିକା ହାଇ ହ୍ୟୁମାନ ଟଚ୍ ଅଛି ସେଗୁଡା ସବୁ କମ ଅଛି। ଯୋଉଥିରେ ଲୋ ଟେକ୍ନୋଲୋଜି ବା କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟର କରି ହଉଥିଲା ସେଗୁଡା ସବୁ AI is inventing. So I thought this graphics is nice to keep things in mind. It will continue to evolve as we see. ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଆକୁ ଯାଇପାରିବ। ଆଉ ଏଥିରେ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ ହଉଛି ଏଗୁଡା ଯେତିକି ସବୁ ମୋଷ୍ଟଲି ସବୁ କନସେପଚୁଆଲି, ବ୍ଲୁ ଇଜ ଲାଇକ୍ ଥିଓରିଟିକାଲ AI କଭରେଜ, ଏଟା କରିପାରିବ ବୋଲି, whereas actually ମାର୍କେଟରେ ଯଦି ଦେଖା ହେଇଛି it is the red one. So we have a lot more area to go. That's just a nice visual I thought of presenting. Before I pass it on to ସତ୍ୟବ୍ରତ ଆମେ ମାନେ ଏଠି କେବଳ ଗଲା 2ଟା ଏପିସୋଡ ଦେଖିଥିଲେ କେମିତି ଚାଟ୍ ଜିପିଟି ହଉ କ୍ଲାଉଡ ହଉ ତା ସହିତ ଚାଟ୍ କରିକି କେମିତି କନଭରସେସନ କୋଉଟା ରାଇଟ୍ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ଯେମିତି ଗୁଗଲ ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ଆଡଭାନ୍ସ ୱେରେ କରିବାଟା କେମିତି ଶିଖିଥିଲେ ୱେ ଫଲୋଡ ଦ ରାଇସ୍ ଫ୍ରେମୱାର୍କ ଯୋଉଥିରେ R stands for ରୋଲ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ରୋଲ କରିବେ ଯେ assume a role of a lawyer or assume a role of a professional and then you ask and then you provide a context you provide the instructions kon dakar you document me something or write an email for me instruction debe context debe jette adhika context dei paribe je kon chahunchanti gote high school kid pai chahunchanti ki gote college kid pai or a professional jette context dei paribe and he is examples se rise format de ki chat kemti kariba seita sikhitile but aji ame tike next step jiwa je khali chat kari bhuli gale kemti na hai ki dhire dhire agentic way ku kemti amara अलगा डे टू डे टास्क गुड़ा आगु करि परिबा से तार डेमो सब देखिबा तो एटा कहबा पूर्व गोटे जिंस मन रखिया पड़िबो जे सिक्यूरिटी फर्स्ट तेणु सब शेयर कला बे बी वेरी केयरफुल सोशल सिक्यूरिटी नंबर्स टैक्स एंड डॉक्यूमेंट्स विथ आपनकर फाइनेंशियल डिटेल्स जोड़ा अछि बैंक अकाउंट नंबर्स अकाउंट पासवर्ड एमतिया जो डॉक्यूमेंट अछि कि टेक्स्ट अछि से गुडा को शेयर करंतु नै पब्लिक स्पेस रे पर्टिकुलरली जेंति कहले जदि आपण एंटरप्राइज फायरवॉल भीतर अछंती देन यू कैन डू एनीथिंग किंतु जेहेतु आम माने एठी जहा कथावार्ता होचे इट इज मोस्टली आपनकर पर्सनल इंटरैक्शन विथ एआई रहिबो तेणु मोस्टली केही आपण माने एंटरप्राइज फायरवॉल आपनकर नथिबो सेति पई एई टाइप रो कॉन्फिडेंशियल इनफॉरमेशन गुड़ा आपण केयरफुली रहिबे पर्टिकुलरली आज जोटा देखिया जाउछु क्लाउड कोवर्क बोली जोटा टिके हायर ग्रेड जोटा अधिक पर्सनल आपण कंप्यूटर फोल्डर भीतर एक्सेस देले बहुत गुडा जिंस ऑटोमेट करि परिबो काम करि परिबो से गुडा डेमो देखिबा सो सेइथिरे एई सब कॉन्फिडेंशियल इनफॉरमेशन प्रति टिके सेंसिटिव रहिबे डू नॉट पुट दोस डेफिनेटली मेक श्योर दैट ए जिंस गुडा नाही बोली and probably jemte chito bhai कहले if there is a company who comes up with a guarantee that nai ame konosi sensitive information sensitive rahibo bahar ku jibani then we are probably okay alright keeping that in mind mane ebe Satyabrata you want to take us forward
ठीक ଅଛି ଭାଇ ଗୋଟେ minute let me share my screen ଆମେ first ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିବା କ୍ଲାଉଡ କୋୱର୍କ ରୁ ସେଟା କଣ ମାନେ ସମସ୍ତ ସରି let me share my screen ଆପଣ ସମସ୍ତେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି କ୍ଲାଉଡ ଚାଟ୍ ବି ଅଛି କ୍ଲାଉଡ କୋୱାର୍କ ନୂଆ ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଇଛି ଆଉ ତାପରେ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି କ୍ଲାଉଡ ର କୋଡ ଆଜି ଦିଟା କଭର କରିବା କ୍ଲାଉଡ କୋୱାର୍କ ଆଉ କ୍ଲାଉଡ କୋଡ ବିଷୟରେ ସୋ କ୍ଲାଉଡ କୋୱାର୍କ ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଲାଉଡ ଚାଟ୍ ଥିଲା ଗୋଟେ ଚାଟ୍ ବଟ୍ ଟାଇପ ର କିନ୍ତୁ କ୍ଲାଉଡ କୋୱାର୍କ ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ AI assistant it's a AI agent actually which can help you do multiple works like it will replace a act of as an assistant ତ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଯଦି କିଏ ଆସିଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ୱାର୍କଟା ଇଏ ଚାହିଁଲେ କ୍ଲାଉଡ କୋୱାର୍କ ଇଜିଲି ରିପ୍ଲେସ କରିପାରିବ it can access your folder it can create a file for you it can like it can go through lot of your files organize your files schedule your meetings if you are connected to your Gmail or official emails you can do all those work which is a good thing you don't have to depend on some human to do these things and the cloud cowork is going to help with all those sessions so like I will say it's a AI assistant right now instead of a chat bot or anything it's a AI assistant which is going to help you automate and replace few more works which is taking a lot of time for that you hopefully seeing my Claude tool right now you can see this is I downloaded the Claude app which you have to go and download it from the Claude SharePoint or Claude website you have to have a pro version of Claude actually like you can see here it shows me let me
माने सब्सक्रिप्शन दिस इज नॉट ए फ्री टूल आपनकर गोटे सब्सक्रिप्शन थिबा दरकार मंथली अराउंड $20 आसे ता द्वारा यू गेट अनलिमिटेड एक्सेस टू मोस्टली नॉट अनलिमिटेड बट गेट अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सेस इनटू क्लाउड एरिया सो वी आर नॉट एंडोर्सिंग द प्रोडक्ट बट कहूचे जे द क्लाउड कोवर्क व्हिच इज अ पॉपुलर टूल हाउ दैट वर्क्स देन दैट्स द डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन you need to have a subscription to be able to use it
yeah basically if you don't have this upgrade version like this is what we have right now pro research code you can go to those monthly max limits but I prefer to stay on this pro plan which is at least good for me whatever the work I am currently doing it so this is good one and this gives you access to this co-work again this co-work will be you will not able to share the co-work or code in the web version you have to go to the desktop version you have to download the desktop version then only you can share it use it the co-work and the code okay let's go back to this then basically what else what it can do. So maybe I'll go to an example instead of going to some other things. So I asked it to, can you organize my download folder by file type? So it took a look into my download folder. It has close to 760 files, and it created based on like what are the things it decided, like, okay, it was keep on asking me also questions, by the same time it will keep on asking you what folders, like what files you want to take a look and where you want to post it. So it created this many this many folders for me, and added all those files into that, each of the files into each of the folders. So if I have to do all this management, like mତେ ଯଦି 760 ଟା file କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଧରିକି look କରିବାର ଥିଲା, it could have been taken me 2 hours at least. But within minutes, it can, like 5 minutes, I was done with, like, I'll bring up my folders. So this is my download folder actually. So looks like this. So I added few more files here actually, but this was what it created, this 10 folders with everything. It also created all this, like what type of folders and which is related to each of them, and it kept on adding all this information here. So this is how the good thing of cloud cover. And if even also I can show you, like, okay, I'm going to ask delete all my installer which was older than 3 months. Okay, let me ask that. Delete all the So I asked it, like, to delete all those files. I'm sorry. Okay, delete all the files lesser than 90 days, older than 90 days. So it's going to delete all those files. I had close to 20 of them. So we'll see once it finishes the work, how much time it takes, and what are the files are there.
This is Nagesh. While this is happening, Munmun is here. She has 50,000 photographs from 2002 onwards. She wants to know how she can organize and search easily.
We can go through that, bhai. I know we have to give the instruction. That is the only thing. What type of instruction you give, it will organize based on that. So you can see here, it is keep on trying to. I'm not able to delete the older files, but because these are the files it shows. But here are the 21 install files older than 21 days. I think it was, I need to download install files. Okay, you can open the downloads. Okay, so maybe sort by date. Somewhere I think I was missing, but we can go through that type of example, bhai. I think it was not getting my permission. That is why it was not doing it. But when you are talking about that one, maybe also one more example, by whatever you told. This is my image folder we have. You can see I have this many images we have all on this. Maybe if you want, you can go to Claude. Maybe I'll use my voice prompt. Organize all, go to the image folders and, okay, sorry. Go to the image folder in the download folder and try organizing based on the days. Create folders based on month. Create folder in the image folder based on the month of the picture has been taken. Create folders also like month and year. So, and sort the images in the image folder. Sorry, something going on. ଉତ୍କଳ ଭାଇ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଇଏଟା କାମ କରୁଛି କି? Okay. Sorry, I think it's better to type it then. Somehow my mic is not working.
Right, type it.
Yeah, organize all the.
But I think the key concept where we are getting it, कि जोथरे हमारा पिक्चर गुडा पछरे भी किछि मेटा इनफॉरमेशन रहतिवा कथा गोटे त डेट रहिला आजिकली सब जो आमे तळे फोन ने पिक्चर नौ चंदी से पछरे तार लोकेशन इनफॉरमेशन भी रखुची तेणु जदि फोन नु आपनकर फोटो अछि मोस्ट ऑफ द स्मार्टफोन्स रु आपण लोकेशन केवल डेट नुए लोकेशन भी कहि परिबे जे ए पिक्चर गुडा आमे यूरोप ट्रिप रे जाइथिलु यूरोप ट्रिप रो पिक्चर गुडा देखि परिबो कि बा यू कैन आस्क कि पिक्चर भितरु स्कैन करी कि यूरोपियन पिक्चर जोडा सी बीच रे थिला सेगुडा खाली देखि परिबो कि एंड इट शुड बी एबल टू फिगर दैट आउट तेणु एमती जस्ट टॉक टू देम लाइक जेमती ह्यूमन को पचारंती सेमती किंतु जते डिटेल्स की पचारथिबे सेमती सेमती करके क्लियर करके से कर परथुबो सो दैट इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी
So basically, bhai,
Okay.
Nagesh, it is like what type of prompt you are giving. You're giving the same instruction what you want to do, then it will do on its own. So now we started looking at check what are the images, what are in the images folder, and look at the file dates. 342 images from 2022 to 2026, and I will organize year and month names of folders. Whatever you want to give, you can just give. If you want to add the Google Drive also, you can give access to Google Drive, and it will do all these things for Google Drive also.
Absolutely. Mane, I can see uses like ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମର ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କର graduation ଆସିବ, you want a montage of 50 photographs from grade 1 onwards. Just say go find those images and put them in order. And I think facial recognition technology ଏତିକି ହେଇଗଲାଣି ଯେ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲାର childhood ରୁ ଏବେ ଯାଏ it probably can pull that together.
Yeah, but also like the same thing. If you when you connect it to the Google Drive also goes and sort it by your face recognition also. So you can do all those sorts using like you connect the cloud to the Google Drive and you do all the work. Okay, so this is how it is creating right now. You can see like images 2020 August 1, November, then April, May, then 2026 January, February, March. It is keep on creating now. So if I go to my folder, like, so you can see the images folder and it is 2024. It created all, what are the folders, like images I have taken, and like from July, these are the PE on the July. It keeps on creating the folders, whatever the instruction you are giving. Not only that, if you want to maybe I'll see this one. This is about my presentation folder, which I'm keep on creating for different presentations. I'm going to give an instruction to here saying that go to my presentations folder. And create an Excel sheet with the name and titles. So basically, this is what I want to give a instruction here. So all I need an Excel sheet here, which will give me information when I used each of those files and what it is for. So it will give me an Excel sheet based on that. So what I want to show here, I didn't have any receipts. So like a lot of people, they keep on saving those HSA or the all the Excel receipts, or like from if you have a company or business, you need to save all those receipts of the like the photos of the receipts. You can look into each of the through cloud cowork. You can look into each of the receipts and create your Excel sheet out of that one. So it's going to replace all those work where you have to do manual addition. You just give an instruction, it will do everything now. Maybe after this, I would, yeah, go ahead, bhai.
I'm quickly, while this is waiting, I can give a quick demo of a funny thing that I did, right? Can I share my screen?
Share, bhai.
ओके तो गोटे क्लाउड रो गोटे यूज केस मु नेली जेमति कि म कहली हमर सोवेनियर सब ओसा वेबसाइट रे सोवेनियर सब रहउचे बहुत वर्ष रो जणे यदि नुवा मेंबर अछथि ओसा रे कोन एक्टिविटी चलची जस्ट गेट टू द सोवेनियर्स हमर सब अछि किंतु सोवेनियर तो बहुत बड़ बड़ आर्टिकल रहउचे एक्टिविटीज रहउचे सब रहउची आई जस्ट पुट लाइक यू नो last 5 years of souvenir and ask ki ओसारे सब कौन एक्टिविटी हुए गोटे समरी करके गोटे इवेंट रो केमती कौन होउचे मते दियो. It did that, it analyzed and it found out some of these things like national all chapter re kon hochi na annual convention, national drama festival, regional drama festival, OPLI seminar, development seminar, higher education seminar, youth cultural segment eguda national level le hochi. चैप्टर लेवल जोड़ा सब प्रोमिनेंटली जो माने करि चलचंती रिपोर्ट करचन से डॉक्यूमेंट रे सेगुडा सब अछि इवेंट एमती कि इवेंचुअली इट क्रिएटेड आई सेड कि आई वांट टू आई एम ए न्यू पर्सन सो आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर कि को चैप्टर रे कोन होची ओसारे कोन एक्टिविटी होची एंड इट जस्ट बिल्ट दैट फ्रॉम स्कैनिंग थ्रू गोटे गोटे सोवेनियर होची 400 लेखा पेज सेमती 5 वर्ष सोवेनियर भीतर भी जाएंगे. इट क्रिएटेड दिस स्प्रेडशीट राइट नाउ कि ओसा नेशनल लेवल ले कोन होची इवेंट एथरे कोन हुए इवेंट समरी भी जमते एनुअल कन्वेंशन है फ्लैगशिप एनुअल गैदरिंग एटा सब से सोवेनियर भीतर पढ़ी से इमीडिएटली विद इन 5 मिनिट्स क्रिएटेड न्यूयॉर्क न्यू जर्सी रे सरस्वती पूजा यूथ मेंटरशिप इवेंट प्रोफेशनल टेक्निकल डेवलपमेंट फोरम एनडीएफ आरडीएफ ए सब एक्टिविटी होची. सो दिस कैन बिकम लाइक जने नुआ मेंबर आसिले दे डोंट हैव टू आस्क अराउंड चेक अराउंड आ वर्ष 5 वर्ष रो डॉक्यूमेंट भी पढ़िबा दरकार नै. यू कैन यूज एआई टू इमीडिएटली जनरेट की कोठी कोन होची बोले. जस्ट वांटेड टू शो दिस क्विक वन. Okay, Satyabrata, you have output as well. Okay.
So I'm going to say back to Jiba. You can see here. Hopefully, yeah, you can see or seeing my screen. So you can see here. I have the same thing also. I just asked it to do it, and it has all the information, like when the created date, when the modified date, what it was talking about, all these things. I don't have to go through all this. If I give more instruction to just what is the what is the main topic on each of the presentation or files, it can give you all this information. So when you are asking for a new task, so maybe I'll go back to say same stuff like what is this. Now we know Cloud Cowork is just a AI agent, but again, this is a sandbox type of information, actually, we'll say. So whenever you are sharing any information, you just have to make sure you are covering your social security and everything. You are not in this particular folder. It cannot go beyond whatever the files or folder you are sharing it here. Like you can see, work in a project. If you want to add, I have just provide access to this download folder. You can, if you want to give access to any different folder, you can choose that one. If you want to create a new project, you can create a new project where you want to use it. You can use it. Also, there is a portion like if you want to go for a new project, it will ask you. No, sorry. When you're going for a new task, actually, it is going to ask you whether you will give permission, whether you're going to ask me the permissions or not. It will ask you, okay, if some people think, okay, it's going to ask me 10 times or 5 times, but if you think, I feel like it is better, you should give you have that enable that option enabled. So the co-work is not going to go and look into all the files. It should ask you each time whether I should look into this file or not. We can enable those informations here while creating the chat, I think. Oh, maybe I have to change this to the offers right now. Or you can add, what type of skills you want to create. You can do all this information in this connector. You can see I gave already access to my Gmail and Cloud Chrome, which is like, and if you want to add any more like a Google Drive or anything, you can do it from this manage connectors. If I have to give an email right now, like I have to create an email from this, I can just go to this and put something like, okay, I want to create an meeting invite for this time, or Google Meet with this time, and it will go to my Gmail and do all those work. Then now last week Cloud has released one new things where you can connect your phone, like it will have a remote access from your phone to your laptop or whether Mac or Windows. So you have to go to this dispatch on your phone also, or when you go to your mobile phone also, it will have the same thing. It has a dispatch option where you have to go and like you can see here, it tells your phone is like a walkie-talkie that can communicate with Cloud on your computer. So from your phone, you can communicate, and whatever the messages you want to send, you can do it, and you don't have to be at the in front of your laptop also. But your laptop has to be all the time awake. It cannot go to sleep and you cannot do any work. Yeah, same thing also. If you want to do some kind of work through Claude, the computer has to be awake all the time. If your computer is on sleep, it cannot do on any type of work. And you can run a task on a schedule whenever you need to do it. Yeah, I'll go to my slide. I just have to have proper way. What type of pro tip for the beginners? Be specific. Make sure you mention like draft a follow-up email to my client John about your Q2 proposal. You have to have this when your email is connected to the Claude. Then give context. What type of information you want it to Claude Cowork to give it to you, like summarize a 10-page report for a non-technical audience in 5 bullet points. Then break big tasks down, list 10 key milestones for 3-month product launch. Like I mentioned, like, okay, look into each of the files and break my images into like month and like year and month. So it has all my 4 pictures in different months and in each year. Review before you send, like Utkar mentioned, AI can hallucinate. So you just make sure what type of data you are sending it. Always make sure review the AI generated content, especially emails and reports whenever you are sending it. Now I don't know how many of you have the laptops on or you on. You guys want to go ahead and start? Maybe at least 1 or 2 things out of this.
Right. I think it is a good point. Let everyone try their prompts. Kahar kichi interesting observation asile habo. And I think at this moment, let's open it. Ki kahar kono interesting experience achi. Why don't we share with each other? Ke kemti dekhichanti ko type of prompt ki ko type of task apon kariki success heichi ba failure heichi. Tale interesting failure ko ame dekhi pariya. How can we better it? Ethi am pakhare already group bhitare hi experts mane achanti. So we should definitely be able to handle it.
Yeah, I think starting to Joy Bhai na kono gote कहूଥିଲେ से भी जदी share करिए ভাল लागिबा.
जय बैंक बोधे कौन ड्रॉप करे थला ना कौन कहले.
Okay, हाँ, I'm the nase nahatio.
Satyabrata and Utkal, this is awesome. I mean, thanks for walking through. More ye question achi. Mane for anything that you have been talking about, Satyabrata, do you want us to get to a desktop cloud, or you are talking about doing it on this
Why
one?
na? Yes. So first Claude, जदि Claude Cowork अपन use करियो चाहचंती, you have to be in the desktop.
Okay.
Without, you have to have installed in, like अपन जदि phone भी use करियो चाहचंती, you need to still have the Claude desktop app, because that will be getting enabled only in desktop Cowork, Claude Cowork.
बेसिक डिफरेंस होची दीटा भितरे क्लाउड एआई जोटा अछि वेब वर्जन जोटा अछि सेथिरे आपण बहुत किछि काम कर परबे सेथिरे किंतु 1 or 2 जेति की फाइल आपण अपलोड करिवे मनकर 5टा फाइल अछि 5टा फाइल को अपलोड करिवे तापर कहबे टा एनालाइज करो बोली दैट पार्ट इज फाइन एंड इन अ वे दैट इज सिक्योर आल्सो कारण आपण कंट्रोल रहिला को फाइल दोचंती बोली वर्सेस आपण कोवर्क कले आपण से क्लाइंट टा को निज कंप्यूटर को नै आसिले निजे नै आसी एटा इवेंचुअली जो एलएलएम होउची कामटा तार प्रोसेसिंग से जेंगी सर्वर कनेक्ट की होउची किंतु से आपनकर लोकल फोल्डर भितर एक्सेस कर पाए लेट्स से आपनकर 5000 फोटो अछि जो प्रकार एनालिसिस थिला सेटा तो वेब वर्जन ने करी हबन ना वेब रे 5000 फोटो पठै की तो एनालाइज करी आनिबे वर्सेस एटा एठी फोटो आपनकर लोकली रहिला क्लाइंट आसी के एठी एनालाइज कर दे की गला सो दैट्स द बिग बूस्ट यू गेट आउट ऑफ दिस क्लाउड कोवर्क.
Okay, so then more primary question then was about the local server based AI जदि कर परिबा में local AI माने if I have
पूरा entire AI की जदि local करिवे cloud cowork is not that solution कारण cloud cowork connects to actually Anthropic रो server और सही उतरे हुए जदि आपन को local करियो को अछि तार अलगा local model गुडा अछि एंते क्वेन बोली गोटे मॉडल टा कहउतले चित्त भाई सेंतिया आपन को निज GPU माने Mac अछि आपनकर Mac अछि जोथरे GPU थिवा दरकार कि लोक माने डेडिकेटेड मिनी मैक भी किनी रखुचंती केवल एआई पे जीपीयू आ गोटे जदी आपण वेरी लिस्ट एक्सपेंस रे जस्ट फील करिया चाहचंती गोटे एनवीडिया रे गोटे थॉर ना कोन बोली गोटे अछि सेटा छोटिया रे जीपीयू टे इट कॉस्ट अबाउट $250 तार हायर वर्जन भी अच्छी $1000 एमती अच्छी किंतु जस्ट टू बेयर बेसिक टू अंडरस्टैंड माने जेमते हाई स्कूल पिला हेले कि ट्यूटोरियल भलिया शिखिया पई $250 से गोटे जीपीयू सहित गोटे टोटल एआई किट हेकी मिलुची जोटा कि प्री ट्रेन्ड हेकी अछि सेतिरे यू कैन कनेक्ट तार किछि डिस्प्ले नाही तो आपनकर कंप्यूटर डिस्प्ले को लगेकी करि परिबे सो दैट इज द लीस्ट एक्सपेंसिव वे टू लर्न अदरवाइज नेक्स्ट बेस्ट विल बी आपनकर मैक कि जोथरे भी जीपीयू वाला कंप्यूटर अछि सेइथरे आपण क्वेन भलिया जो एलएलएम गुडा अछि इंस्टॉल कर दे परिबे सो दैट बिल्कुल इंटरनेट को जीव ही नहीं डेटा आपण कंप्यूटर भीतर रहबो सब किछि एनालिसिस होबो सब किछि भीतर ही रहि परिबो सो दैट मॉडल इज देयर
Bane, again, I'm sorry, I'm asking third question. For a regular MacBook, let's say, mane M4, M3, M4 kind of chip. Seithire, jadi if I want to keep a local AI, is it too computationally intensive if it is on the higher end of that M3, M4 chip?
No, M3, M4 is very powerful. I think Chitta bhai achandi basic koi pari কিন্তু M3, M4 is powerful ଯେମିତି at least माने 8 billion 10 billion parameter रे जो गुडा ट्रेन ହେଇଛନ୍ତି LLM ସେଇ गुडा को हैंडल କରିବାକୁ ऑफ कोर्स माने जदी आपण 200 billion जो गुडा सब इंडस्ट्री ग्रेड ର ଅଛି ସେଇ टाइप ର एथिरे जिबा पई आपणकर पाइबनी କିନ୍ତୁ 8 10 billion ର करिया पई लोकल इन्फ्रेंस पई इट इज फाइन आपण जतो लोकली करिवे आई एम होपिंग कि यू डू नॉट वांट कि वर्ल्ड र किछि भी आज मेडिकल विषय पचारली काली लॉ विषय पचार एंती तो हबा ना यू विल गो डीप इनटू योर एरिया तेनु यू विल फाइन ट्यून यू विल specific case देवे so it is very possible आपन लैपटॉप रे करबा very possible specific domain ने
okay maybe if I can suggest then maybe that's what local AI को करिया पे केमती गोटे maybe
गोटे
Utkarsh
सेशन
or
सेटा करबा
Satyabrata if you can come up with
yes
like a session
right
demonstration session that will be awesome.
More than Nagesh Kuchi, my mind is racing in terms of how can we start using some of this OSA website. Actually, Didina Guru, ମୁଁ କ୍ଲାଉଡରେ ବସିକି I said go through the constitution ଆମ bylaws website ରେ ଅଛି and give me a guideline କି ଜଣେ member ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ grievance କରିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବ how do they go about it? It give me a guideline kind of thing. Within 5 minutes it created a nice beautiful guideline. This is the steps to follow. ମୁଁ କହିଲି you know what, it can take it one step forward. ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି guideline ପଢିକି ତାପରେ ମୁଁ କହିବି ଏଠିକି email କରିବି ସେଠିକି email କରିବି. Why don't we make it a workflow to say okay I want to submit a grievance. So ତାପରେ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ କରି question ପଚାରି ଯିବ. I'll keep answering those questions and at the end of it will say okay are you done? I'll send it to the grievance team. So, I mean, the amount of application possibility that is existing here, just within our OSA domain, tremendous. I think jete jaldi hoba humko website update kariki we should start that work.
yep right au kahari kichi interesting ye achi but टिके टाइम पार ही गला जी 10 minutes खंडो त नेक्स्ट थिरे हमें ओरिजिनली प्लान करथिलु क्लाउड कोड जोटा क्लाउड नॉट क्लाउड रो कोड जोटा सेटा को देखेबा को एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू डू दैट आम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मु काम करे ट्रैवलर्स इंश्योरेंस पे आई एम डायरेक्टर ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग देयर सेथिरे आई एम लीडिंग राइट नाउ कि केमती न्यू फ्रंटियर सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट जोटा सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट होची हाउ कैन वी यूज क्लाउड कोड to develop those so that going forward the software engineers are taking charge of the new way of doing that is not by coding rather instructing the AI model to develop code but taku enterprise grade software kariya pai kete kona lage there are a lot of things I mean experiment pai hello world style program ba chota gota UI bana ekara hei jibo but taku enterprise grade software kariya pai kon darkar pade I lead that area so I'll be happy to share my experience cloud code re kemti kama hue and that will be very highly focused on jo mane actually software engineering or website development or Nagesh bhai jota kahile amar osara website ku kemti develop kari pariba that will come into that space so it is more into web technologies API based applications distributed system design seithre asiba so it is a little bit technical we will do it in the next episode but in the meantime any open questions conversations feedback any topic suggestions we are happy to take it
is there any Teams chat or WhatsApp group for OSA AI Club?
WhatsApp हमें नंबर रखिनु but you ए जो chat group बोली नहीं you can always send a mail to professionalnetworking@odisasociety.org और हमारो ओसार जोटा रेगुलर फेसबुक ग्रुप अछि सेइथरे फेसबुक रे गोटे डिस्कशन ग्रुप अछि आई थिंक सेइटा को करबा अलगा नुवा नुवा डिवाइस न करिकी सेइटा को कल हबो मु देखै देबी एथरे को ग्रुप टा को मु कहूची सो जो माने सब्सक्राइब करि नाते यू शुड डू दैट मु सेइ ग्रुप टा देखै दोची स्क्रीन शेयर करछि इस पेज टाको देखि तांतु এটা দেখা হচ্ছে দি ওডিশা সোসাইটি অফ দি আমেরিকাস ডিসকসন গ্রুপ এইথিরে জয়েন করে পারলে উই ক্যান অল টক এথিরে সব যেতে আমার ইভেন্ট ইনফরমেশন আসুথায় আসতায় সব এইথিরে চালিথায় সো ডেফিনেটলি ফিল ফ্রি টু এনগেজ ইনটু এ কনভরসেশন হিयर ଆମେ ଅଲଗା ଗ୍ରୁପ ଇଏ କରିପାରିବେ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ ତାର ଗୁଡାଏ ଖଣ୍ଡ ତା ଦେହରେ ରହୁଛି ଟିକେ ପ୍ରାଇଭେସି କନସର୍ନ ରହୁଛି ଯେ କିଏ ମେମ୍ବର କାହାର ଫୋନ ନମ୍ବର ନେଇଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଆଣ୍ଡ ଦେନ୍ ଅନସଲିସିଟେଡ ଇନଫରମେସନ ଆସୁଛି ସେଥିପାଇଁ वी haven't formed a WhatsApp group but Facebook ଏଇ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ଓସାର ଯୋଉଟା ଜେନେରାଲ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଅଛି we can always have specific conversation around this.
Thank you.
Right. ଆଉ କିଛି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଅଛି ଗାରି?
Yeah, Utkala. So how
Aଜ୍ଞା.
can we get personal involvement in your all these nice knowledge? One-to-one coaching
ବେଶ
is possible.
वन टू वन ହେଇପାରିବ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ वन टू वन ବି ହେଇପାରିବ ତା ଛଡା ଆପଣ ଯଦି କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁଟ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି ୟାକୁ I think the best case will be bringing the use case. I am very thankful कि आशुतोष भाई commented and someone liked also that we built a use case with respect to OSA and the OSA ର souvenir ଏତେ ଅଛି from that we scraped and immediately within 5 minutes it could pull out कि कौन activity OSA रे होउची बोली right सेमती टाइप रो एमती आपनकर कोनसे you are a medical professional so why don't you bring a nice use case we can see of course keeping in mind the patient privacy all those things we will take care kintu we can think about that one on one definitely ammanku samaste jani chanti you know a lot of WhatsApp groups CSA and then connection jani chanti anytime you need help we are all available Satyabrata
See,
passion
Utkala,
dekhutube how
medical ray, I see that the AI is behind. So I see in your graph,
yes
they are way behind. So if we can contribute to make it better, that would be nice.
right तार particularly HIPAA regulation इशू पाई सेटा भी टिके behind जानी सुनी गछि intentionally अछि so that you know people do not start trusting कि AI recommended medicine नै गलेनी से माने RX न नै कि डॉक्टर गटारो से तेने there are dangerous propositions to जो पेटे control manner अछि but you are very right को जिंस को open करियो वा expose करियो we should be discussing about that.
Beautiful. Thanks everybody. Thanks Utkal.
Okay all right thank you everyone for joining 2 weeks रे पुनः थर देखा हुआ से पर्यंत हमको यूज केसेस बताओ था तो we will continue to find great speakers industry leaders and
Thank
we'll
you.
engage like
Thank
this
you.
in hands on. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Utkal. Thank you.